Right now at 6, the former nurse accused of abusing babies in the NICU pleads guilty. An update on his potential prison time.
And we're hearing from the family of a Columbia County man found dead after checking for an intruder in his basement.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thank you for joining us tonight. The former NICU nurse accused of abusing infants at Meriter Hospital last year pleads guilty on all 19 counts today.
According to court records, 44-year-old Christopher Capeham abused 9 babies between March of 2017 and February of 2018. The allegations came to light early last year when the hospital reported unexplained bruises on infants. But as more details emerged, it was revealed that infants suffered injuries ranging from bruises on their arms to broken arms, leg bones, even a skull fracture.
I think it would be impossible not to be affected emotionally by this case. This doesn't involve any of my kids, and in reading through the information that I have read through, evokes a lot of emotion in me.
He pleaded guilty to all 19 counts. The total of those charges adds up to 148 years at sentencing. Bond was revoked. The sentencing date has not yet been set.
Columbia County is investigating the death of 35-year-old Keith Wolf, who died of a gunshot wound. He was found dead Friday night after his wife told police he was checking for a potential intruder after hearing a noise in the basement. Gabriela Becerra spoke with Wolf's family.
I believe he died protecting his family.
Keith Wolf was the youngest of Mary Isley's 3 sons.
He would call me on the phone and tell me that he loved me to the moon and back forever and ever.
And his older brother, Jesse Wolf,
I was so proud of him. I mean, the way he had, his morals were right.
says he has fond memories of watching Keith grow up.
We'd always wrestle when he was little, and we'd always pretend we're at the state wrestling tournament, and I'd pin him, and he's he's so competitive.
Isley says the last couple of days have been hard, especially knowing how it happened.
And how bad it was, you know, how it happened is just hard to understand. And right now, my faith is being tested, you know. I pray to God that I can get through this.
And officials have no answers right now. Columbia County Sheriff Roger Brandner says there are no suspects in custody, and he doesn't know if the public is in danger. So Keith's family is turning to each other to remain strong.
Think of all the good memories we do have of them. Do our grieving, but don't stay in the past. We must move forward from this. Always remember and always keep in touch with the rest of the family.
And know that they will always be proud of him.
I was pretty fortunate to have a brother as good as he was. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. Everything he did and all the pictures that I would see, it'd bring a tear to my eye because I was so proud.
I'm Gabriela Becerra, News 3 Now.
Columbia County Sheriff Roger Brandner says Keith Wolf's death is still under investigation and is hoping to have more answers tomorrow.
To weather now, a short break from the rain, but there's more on the way, maybe a lot more. Let's check your first alert forecast with Dave Caulfield. Dave?
Well, Eric, all this heat and humidity today will set the stage for some heavy rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. It doesn't really look like it now. It actually looks and feels a lot like summer. Summer stopping by for the day in Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam. Currently at 83 degrees, south wind at 10 miles per hour. That dew point in the 70s, so it does feel more like the upper 80s still in some spots. 82 the temperature in Janesville, 87 still in Boscobel, and still feeling like the 90s in Boscobel. 87 is the feels like temperature in Madison, 86 in Janesville, 84 in Watertown. Your day planner temperatures will fall through the 70s this evening with clouds on the increase. A few showers, mainly on the light to moderate side, possible tomorrow morning. But as we get later and later into Tuesday, our chances for heavy rain and stronger thunderstorms go up. We'll go hour by hour and talk about potential rain totals in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Dave, thank you. Developing tonight, Madison police have issued arrest warrants for 33-year-old Lee Arthur Taylor and 37-year-old Lawrence Thomas. This is in connection to a Northside shooting over the weekend. They're facing first-degree intentional homicide charges. 19-year-old Malik Moss of Sun Prairie was shot about 6 p.m. Saturday on Northport Drive. Investigators believe there was a dispute between Moss and people he knew leading to that shooting. Detectives learned that multiple armed men were in the area at the time.
Even though this was an intended target, this victim, and again, our hearts are out to his family and his friends, but there were a lot of other people who could have been shot who were not involved in this dispute at all. We can see clearly on the surveillance video a couple of children who were in that area just seconds before the gunfire.
Police say, quote, extremely good surveillance footage is helping the case. If you see Taylor or Thomas, police ask you not to approach them. Call 911 immediately.
One woman is now in custody and is being tentatively charged with first-degree attempted homicide.
Police say 22-year-old Shakita Lee of Fitchburg critically injured a 21-year-old woman in a series of gunshots yesterday on High Ridge Trail in Fitchburg. Jamie Perez joins us from the scene where it happened yesterday and has more details. Jamie?
Well, this is still a very active investigation, and police said earlier that they believe that this is a result of an ongoing family dispute, but they're still trying to work to figure out what the motive was here yesterday. Now, police say that the 21-year-old woman who was on scene when police were responding to calls of gunshots is now in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The 22-year-old, who police believe shot her, had non-life-threatening injuries and is now being held at the Dane County Jail. Police also said a 49-year-old woman showed up to the hospital later on with non-life-threatening injuries from a gunshot wound. She is expected to be discharged from the hospital today. Police Chief Chad Breckland said he does not believe this is connected to the still unsolved case of the murder of Shay Watson. But given the size of his police department, he says handling 2 incidents related to gun violence is putting a strain on his resources.
When situations like this happen, particularly in close proximity to one another, it does definitely put a tax on our resources, so to speak. And it's great to have partners in this county that are willing to help provide resources in time of need.
Chief Breckland said he is not looking for any additional suspects right now, but says more arrests could be made and that there could have been about 7 to 8 people involved in the original fight right before police got here. He also said 2 handguns were found at the scene and believes that this was, again, a result of an ongoing family dispute. They're still trying to look into whether those weapons were obtained legally or illegally or what the situation was there. And they are asking anyone with any video or any other additional information to contact Fitchburg Police.
Jamie, thank you.
Madison police are looking for a teenager last seen on Sunday. 14-year-old Rashmila Modaf was last seen on Buell Street on the Isthmus near the intersection of Winnebago and South First Streets. Modaf, about 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, black shoulder-length hair, last seen wearing a pink winter coat with a fur-lined hood and black and white Air Jordan shoes. Anyone with information is asked to call 911.
The 25-year-old son of former Governor Scott Walker has decided against a run for Congress. Matt Walker posted on Twitter he would not run to replace retiring U.S. Representative Jim Sensenbrenner in Wisconsin's 5th Congressional District. That covers northern and western Milwaukee suburbs. Walker says after praying and talking with community members, friends, and family, he's decided to focus on work and community involvement to support the area. Starting tomorrow, Wisconsin vehicle title and registration fees will increase. The changes, effective October 1st, are part of the state's 2019-2020 budget. Vehicle title fees will increase almost $100 from $69.50 to $164.50. The annual registration cost is going up $10 from $75 to $85. An annual surcharge of $75 will also be applied to all hybrid vehicles.
Verona students are honoring a teacher who lost her battle with cancer. Lindsay Snow was a multi-age teacher at Glacier Edge Elementary School. A co-worker and friend describes her as a dynamic person who helped students grow a passion for learning. Students wrote cards to honor Mrs. Snow, and the school will plant a red maple tree and put a bench in front of the school to honor her. There's also a GoFundMe page to help the Snow family pay for medical expenses not covered by insurance. We have a link to it at channel3000.com. A prominent Madison insurance executive and a member of the board of directors of WISC-TV has died.
John Larson joined National Guardian Life in 1969, a few years after getting law and accounting degrees from the University of Wisconsin. He was named Chief Executive Officer of the Madison Insurance Company in 1989 and continued to serve as chairman until he retired in 2017.
Still ahead at 6, Madison is getting a new police chief. Why Mike Koval says he is retiring after 30 years with the department, and what's next to find his replacement.
And there is more local news ahead, how additional funding will help boost mental health services and get more addiction recovery coaches out in our area. That's tonight on News 3 Now at 10. On former Madison Police Chief Mike Koval's first day of retirement, he is sharing more about his reasons for the abrupt departure.
Yeah, he made the announcement on his blog yesterday that his resignation would be effective immediately. And our Amanda Quintana joins us now with more details. Amanda?
Koval says he is frustrated and just tired of the politics. He's ready to let someone else step in, hoping a different face and voice will get city government to make public safety a priority. He says despite his efforts, he hasn't been able to get the increase in staff he says the department needs since 2015, requesting 10 more officers a year, but never getting it. He says he's run out of ways to convince the mayor and alders to pay attention to the needs of the department.
And frankly, we're getting ready to go through another budgetary process where I am completely frustrated in terms of what I believe are important priorities for this department that probably won't be met, and I get it. But that doesn't mean I have to like it, that doesn't mean I have to agree with it, and it certainly doesn't mean I have to sit through it.
He hopes that the person chosen as the next chief will be independent and not let themselves be, quote, lapdogs for politicians. As for Koval, he says what makes him feel angst and fear most is our current juvenile justice system, saying we don't have enough mentors, programming, or space to confine kids. Also saying part of him would like to be mayor, but he's not thinking about that seriously right now.
Amanda, thank you. And Madison's Police and Fire Commission plans to choose an officer to act as police chief at its next meeting on October 14th. In the meantime, Assistant Chief Vic Wall is serving as the interim chief. Rose Schmidt explains what we know so far about the search for the permanent leader here. Rose?
Eric, Interim Chief Vic Wall is taking over Chief Mike Koval's duties, and the department's union president and Alder Paul Skidmore both say he's intelligent and will make a good leader. Wall has been with the department since 1991, serving in a number of roles, including a commander for the West District. Union President Kelly Powers says he believes the city will start a national search for the permanent chief, but there are a number of good internal candidates. Skidmore says Wall should apply for the job on a permanent basis, but whoever the leader turns out to be, Skidmore hopes that person listens to concerns of the neighborhoods, union, and alders.
It's going to be important to have the right chief, and that there is some concern that the next chief may not reflect the real needs of public safety in this community.
Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway declined our request for an on-camera interview today, but said in a statement that she will work with the commission to organize a search for the new chief, and she wants input from the public and the department in choosing that new leader. Powers says the biggest challenge for the new chief will likely be understanding the, quote, uniqueness to Madison politics, a challenge Koval cited as a reason, of course, for his retirement.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting. Rose, thank you.
Coming up in sports, UW-Madison Athletic Director Barry Alvarez is pushing back against a new California law that would let college athletes make money from endorsements. Melissa Kim will have the details.
A little
at Hilldale Shopping Center, a Neapolitan pizza spot is closing.
Cafe Porta Alba is closing on October 19th. In a Facebook post, owner Vincenzo Puglisi says the entire crew will miss serving their wonderful customers and thanked everyone for their support over the years. Puglisi grew up in Italy, 45 minutes away from Naples. He got to know the city and developed an understanding of Neapolitan-style pizza. There will be special events before the restaurant's closing, and those will be announced soon.
Meteorologist Dave Caulfield joining us now as we keep a close eye on the outlook for rain in the coming days.
Yeah, we had all this heat and humidity today, and that's going to help provide the fuel for at least the potential for some rounds of heavy rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. Alert days in the forecast for both of those days, 1 to 2 inches of rain possible Tuesday and again on Wednesday. So you add all that up, that's 2 to 4 inches of additional rainfall to start the month of October after an already soggy September. That could spell a disaster for some areas if we do get that heavy rain to materialize. A flash flood watch in effect from tomorrow morning through Wednesday morning for all of southern Wisconsin. And here's what I'm talking about, folks. During the month of September, we have had more than double our normal rainfall for the 9th month of the year. And really, we got off easy in Madison. There are spots across southwestern Wisconsin that have received more than a foot of rain this September. It does look like the heaviest rain will fall a little bit farther north compared to where it has for September. So I guess that's looking at the situation glass half full, but really, we could see heavy rain throughout southern Wisconsin over the next couple of days, and we really can't take all that much more. So we'll be watching that very closely. Doppler track we've been watching closely for today and not seeing all that much. We need to wait until a slow-moving cold front moves in from the north and provides the source of lift for these showers and thunderstorms to get going tomorrow. An excessive rainfall outlook is in effect for southern Wisconsin, a moderate risk, and that is the second highest level that you can have. That includes Madison and spots to the north like La Crosse, closer to the Dells as well. So really spots north of Madison, including Madison in this latest outlook, need to be on high alert as we head into the next couple of days for the threat of some flash flooding. Madison and the Edgewater Skycam today, no flooding. We were talking about very warm temperatures. In fact, just a couple of degrees off of the record set back in 1971. Our high today, 85 degrees, and with that humidity still very high, it felt like the 90s throughout much of the afternoon for southern Wisconsin. So high temperatures 85 in Madison, 84 in Janesville, 90 even in Boscobel. It is September 30th and we're in Wisconsin, as long as we're on the same page here. Right now those temperatures a few degrees cooler. And speaking of cooler, we'll be in the upper 60s for tonight, becoming mostly cloudy, breezy with storms arriving late. Really, we're talking about Tuesday morning for when the first semblance of showers gets to southern Wisconsin. Not as warm and humid for tomorrow, temperatures in the 70s with showers and storms. So on future track, we noticed a few light showers possible early in the morning, but really we have to wait until later on Tuesday, specifically Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. There you can see that slow moving cold front. And if we get some of these storms to train, if they go back to back, so to speak, our rain totals could really add up quickly. Now, we don't want to see this front stall at all. If that happens, then all bets are off as far as where exactly that heaviest rain will fall, and we could see some locally heavier amounts compared to that 2 to 4 inches. And speaking of rainfall amounts, we're looking at anywhere from 2 to 3, possibly even 4 inches of rain by the time we get to early on Thursday morning. Good news is we're more fall-like and calmer as we head into Friday.
Well, Chris Orr with some big conference honors this week. Well, the story, that's next in sports.
News
Well, it's been an ongoing debate for years now. Should college athletes get paid? Well, the state of California is taking the first steps towards making that happen today. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Fair Pay to Play Act today, which will allow California student athletes to profit off of their name, image, and likeness starting on January 1st, 2023, essentially allowing players to get paid for endorsements, an issue that many student athletes have been passionate about, most recently around here, former Badger basketball player Nigel Hayes. Now, the NCAA not exactly thrilled, saying in part that while they do agree that changes are needed to support student athletes, it needs to happen at a national level. Wisconsin Athletic Director Barry Alvarez said during an interview this morning on WTMJ Radio in Milwaukee that as long as the rules are different, the Badgers won't be scheduling any California schools in the future.
This is amateur athletics, and so I'm very concerned with it, and I think it'll affect our game greatly. And believe me, I want to do as much as we possibly can for our student athletes, and we do. Our student athletes actually live pretty good right now, and their stipend, let's say a football or basketball player, their stipend monthly probably between $650, $750 spending money tax-free, along with everything else taken care of.
So stay tuned for more on that in the future. Meanwhile, another early kickoff this weekend for the Badgers, 11 a.m. kickoff against Kent State. But hey, good news for people who can't get up that early. The Michigan State game the following week will be at 2:30 p.m. The Badgers rode their defense to a 24-15 win over Northwestern on Saturday to go 4-0 overall and 2-0 in the Big Ten. It's a little strange to play a couple of conference games, then sneak a non-conference game in there, but that's what the schedule says. That's what the Badgers will deal with.
That's the first time I've experienced that. Really, it's just going to be another game for us, another opponent, someone coming into Camp Randall trying to leave here with a win. So we got to make sure that, we don't make this game any easier than, any of the previous games. We got to make it tough as possible and give them our best shot.
I think in all there's similarities to each week, and then each week has its own specific differences, challenges. Doesn't matter whether it's a Big Ten opponent, non-conference, it's one more opportunity to play, and how do you maximize it?
And Badger linebacker Chris Orr was named the Big Ten's Defensive Player of the Week. He had 9 tackles against Northwestern, including 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and, hey, a lot of fire. That's not officially included, though. The Badgers are still ranked #1 in the nation in total defense, allowing an average of less than 200 yards a game. Our Prep Mania High School football game of the week takes us back to Oregon, where the Panthers face Monona Grove in a Badger South Conference battle. Join Jay Wilson and Alan Minnert for the game, Friday night at 7 live on channel3000.com. Well, 1/3 of the Brewers' original starting outfield will be back for the postseason. Ryan Braun will start in left in tomorrow's wildcard game against the Nationals in Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, Lorenzo Cain expects to play. He took batting practice and tested out his sprained ankle. He didn't seem to be all that comfortable jogging around the field at Nationals Park, though, but he said a lot would have to go wrong for him to not play tomorrow, guys.
They need him.
They do.
All right, quick final check.
And we don't need any more rain. Unfortunately, that could be on the way for Tuesday and Wednesday alert days. In the forecast, as temperatures fall through the 70s and 60s, much more fall-like for Thursday and Friday. Friday, nice, sunny, temps in the mid-50s.
Thanks for joining us.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.